Have you ever had one of those nights where you're tossing and turning and you just can't figure out why? Now imagine that. But you're 75, your body doesn't bounce back the way it used to, and you wake up feeling more exhausted than when you went to bed. Now, think about your mom or your dad, or maybe your grandmother. You've seen it. Those restless nights, the sudden confusion, that heavy breathing. Maybe they got up to use the bathroom for the third time. Maybe they sat at the edge of the bed, holding their chest, not saying a word because they didn't want to worry you. And the strangest part? You fed them dinner. You made sure they took their meds. You did everything right. But something's off, and you can feel it. What if I told you that something as simple as what they ate before bed could be quietly damaging their sleep, their heart, even their brain? Not something dramatic. Not fast food or fried chicken. No, I'm talking about everyday foods. Foods we all have in our kitchens, things we think are harmless or even healthy. But for seniors over 70, some of these foods can silently throw their bodies into chaos after dark. We're talking blood pressure spikes, nighttime heart strain, digestion issues that spiral into confusion, and in some cases, they don't wake up the same. In this video, we're going to uncover 7 foods that no senior over 70 should ever eat before bed. And number 3, it's scary, because it's linked to nighttime heart attacks, and most families have no idea it's dangerous. This isn't fear-mongering. This is love. This is awareness. This is about understanding what's really happening in their bodies when the lights go out. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll not only know what to avoid, you'll know how to gently replace those habits with safer, healthier choices, and you'll sleep better too, just knowing you're protecting the people you love most. Comment "I'm here" if you're watching this because you care, because you're doing your best to look after someone who once looked after you. And don't forget to subscribe to Elderly Words for more heart-centered, expert-backed guidance on caring for those we cherish in their final chapters. Let's get into it. Let's start with a common one. Number 1, spicy foods. Picture this. Your grandfather sitting at the dinner table smiling wide as he dips his spoon into that fiery, beloved stew. It's been his comfort food for decades. He cleans his plate, gives you that familiar wink, and heads to bed. But around midnight, he's awake, shifting, groaning quietly. By 3 a.m., he's still staring at the ceiling, rubbing his chest, breathing heavier than usual. You ask if he's okay. He just says it's nothing, maybe just gas. But you can see the discomfort in his eyes. Here's the truth. Spicy foods stimulate acid production in the stomach. In young, healthy adults, that's usually not a problem. But in seniors, whose digestion is already slower and whose esophageal muscles have weakened over time, spicy food can trigger intense acid reflux. And when they lie down, that acid has nowhere to go but up. Yet most families don't connect the dots. They chalk it up to just old age or assume heartburn is harmless. But chronic reflux in the elderly can lead to esophageal damage, sleep disruption, and over time, strain the heart. So what can you do instead? Try replacing those spices with milder, gut-friendly herbs. Basil, turmeric, parsley. They still bring flavor, but without the nighttime fireworks. And spicy food isn't the only hidden culprit. Number 2, sugary snacks, desserts. Your mom's in the kitchen, slipping a few cookies from the jar. It's her little evening treat. Harmless, right? She's earned it, after all. But a couple hours later, she's wide awake. Or worse, she's up and wandering, confused, saying things that don't quite make sense. Sugar causes blood sugar spikes, and in seniors that roller coaster effect is much more dramatic. Their insulin response is slower, and their ability to regulate blood sugar through the night is diminished. That means after the initial comfort comes a crash, and with it sleep interruptions, agitation, and in some cases nighttime hypoglycemia that can mimic dementia-like symptoms. And here's the mistake so many make. Thinking a small dessert helps relax the body. But sugar does the exact opposite. It stimulates the brain, floods the system with energy, and then leaves the body restless and unstable. What to do instead? Offer something with gentle protein and natural sweetness, a small bowl of Greek yogurt with a few berries, or a rice cake with almond butter. These calm the system, not confuse it. Now, let's talk about one that's even more dangerous, and sadly, it's killed more quietly than we realize. Point 3. Processed meats. He's always done this. Sliced ham, cold cuts, maybe some salami before bed. It's quick, easy. He says it helps him sleep with a full stomach. But one night, he doesn't wake up. Deli meats, sausages, bacon, these are packed with sodium and preservatives, especially nitrates. These chemicals constrict blood vessels, raise blood pressure, and increase nighttime heart strain. And here's what most people don't realize. The heart works differently at night. It's supposed to slow down. But when it's battling salt, dehydration, and stimulants, it stays in overdrive. Processed meats are the silent heart attacker, especially for those over 70, whose hearts are already working harder. And yet, these foods are marketed as light or even healthy snacks. Want a safer choice? Go with low-sodium turkey, cottage cheese, or avocado on whole-grain toast. Still satisfying, but kinda to the heart. That one's tough to hear. But now let's switch gears to something you drink, not eat. Something most of us believe helps us relax. Number 4. Alcohol. A glass of wine before bed. It's a ritual for many. Maybe your grandmother calls it her nightcap. She smiles, feels warm and cozy, and drifts off quickly, but by midnight, she's up, disoriented, needing help to the bathroom. She tries to sit up and nearly falls. Alcohol tricks the brain. It does help you fall asleep faster, but then it shatters your sleep cycle. It disrupts REM, the deep restorative stage. In seniors, alcohol amplifies confusion, raises the risk of falls, and accelerates cognitive decline. Still, people swear by it because they associate the drowsiness with good rest. But sleep isn't just about falling asleep. It's about staying asleep, recovering, healing. So what's better? Calming herbal teas, chamomile, lemon balm, even warm water with a little honey. These soothe the nervous system without destabilizing it. And speaking of drinks, there's another one we need to talk about. 5. Caffeinated beverages. Chocolate. It's cozy. She's sipping on her favorite black tea, nibbling a square of dark chocolate. You love that she has these little joys in life. But 3 hours later, she's still awake. She's worried. Her thoughts are racing. And you're starting to wonder why she's getting less sleep, not more. Caffeine is sneaky. Seniors metabolize it much slower, sometimes up to twice as long as younger adults. That means a cup of tea at 6 p.m. can still be active in the bloodstream at midnight. And chocolate? Most people forget it contains caffeine too, especially the darker kinds. Families often say, but it's just tea, or it's only a piece of chocolate. But those tiny amounts are enough to keep a 75-year-old brain on high alert through the night. Instead, reach for rooibos, peppermint, or non-caffeinated blends, and check chocolate labels. Go for carob or other low-stimulant options. Now, let's move to a comfort food that seems innocent, but causes more trouble than you'd think. Number 6. High-fat dairy. He has his little ritual, a plate of cheese and crackers before bed. Maybe some ice cream if he's feeling fancy. It's his way of winding down. But later, he's clutching his stomach, bloated, gassy, shifting in his sleep. Sometimes he even groans in pain. High-fat dairy is hard to digest, especially at night, when the digestive system slows down. In seniors, it lingers in the gut, causing bloating, acid buildup, and discomfort that breaks the sleep cycle over and over again. And there's a stubborn myth that warm milk helps you sleep. Maybe it did when we were kids. But for many older adults, especially those with lactose sensitivity, it only adds to their nighttime discomfort. Want a better option? Low-fat yogurt, almond milk, or even a banana with a sprinkle of cinnamon? Soothing, digestible, and gentle on the gut. And now, one last food, the surprise on this list. 7. Citrus fruits. It's healthy, right? A bowl of oranges, a glass of grapefruit juice. Your loved one smiles, proud to be making a good choice. But then they're coughing all night, waking with a sore throat, or complaining of stomach pain when they wake up. Citrus fruits are acidic. They trigger stomach acid production, especially harmful when eaten right before lying down. For seniors, this can lead to acid reflux that travels up into the throat and lungs, causing coughing, hoarseness, even breathing issues. People assume that natural means safe, but timing matters. And when it comes to citrus, before bed is the worst time. Swap with something more stomach-friendly. Bananas, apples, a pear. These don't spike acid and they quietly support sleep rather than disturb it. Now that we've walked through the 7, let's take a breath. Some of this might have been hard to hear, but it's coming from a place of care, a place of love. And in the next part, we're going to talk about what all this really means for your loved ones, and for you. It's hard to watch, isn't it? You see them, the people who raised you, who once carried you in their arms, now lying awake at night, tossing, whispering your name in the dark, or worse, not waking up the way they used to. You notice the confusion in their eyes some mornings, the fatigue in their voice, and deep down, a quiet fear grows inside you, because something feels off. But you can't always tell what, and it's terrifying to think that something as small as a bedtime snack, something they've eaten their whole lives, could now be quietly hurting them. That maybe, just maybe, last night's cookies, or the glass of wine, or the bowl of oranges, played a part in the struggle you watched unfold. But here's the thing. You see it now. You're not in the dark anymore. You're not blindly hoping things will get better or brushing it off as just old age, you know. And that knowing, that awareness, is powerful. It turns helplessness into preparedness. It turns fear into choice. You have the tools to protect them, to ease their nights, to support their hearts, their minds, their comfort. Not with grand gestures, not with expensive treatments, but with tiny, thoughtful changes. One snack, one question, one conversation at a time. So tonight, take a look. Peek into their evening habits. What's in the fridge? What's on the tray beside the recliner? Sit beside them. Ask how they slept last night. Not just out of politeness, but with intention. Listen to the answer. And if you notice something that needs changing, help them. Gently, lovingly. Maybe they'll resist at first, that's okay. Habits are hard to break, especially the ones wrapped in comfort. But your care, your quiet persistence, can shift things. It can ease the ache in their chest. It can calm the buzzing in their mind. It can help them wake up well, because no one's perfect, not them, not you, not me. But love, informed love, is one of the most powerful forces we have. And when it shows up in the form of a banana instead of ice cream or tea instead of wine, it matters. You're not just extending their life, you're improving its quality. You're giving them peace. And that's one of the greatest gifts you could ever offer. So, let's pause for a moment and breathe in everything we've just walked through together. We began with something that seems so simple, so small. What foods do our elders eat before bed? But as you've now seen, what may feel like harmless bedtime habits, like a spicy stew, a glass of wine, or even a little piece of dark chocolate, can actually have ripple effects that touch some of the most vulnerable parts of their health. Let's go over those foods one more time, not just to remember them, but to really understand why they matter. Spicy foods. They bring flavor and warmth, sure, but at night they often bring heartburn, acid reflux, and a long, uncomfortable struggle just to fall asleep. Sugary snacks. They're comforting, they're nostalgic, but they spike insulin, disturb sleep patterns, and can quietly worsen blood sugar issues that many seniors are already battling. Processed meats. Quick and easy, yes, but loaded with sodium and chemicals that can put dangerous strain on the heart, especially during the vulnerable hours of the night. Alcohol. It feels like it helps with sleep, until it doesn't. Instead, it fragments sleep, increases nighttime confusion, and contributes to falls or memory fog. Caffeine and chocolate. Hidden stimulants, easy to overlook. But in aging bodies with slower metabolisms, their effects last longer, robbing seniors of the deep restorative sleep they need. High-fat dairy. That cheese and cracker plate may feel like a treat, but it's harder to digest, bloats the stomach, and disrupts comfort and rest. And citrus fruits, healthy, yes, but acidic. They stir up stomach acid and nighttime coughing fits, things that can seem small but rob them of peace during the night. Each of these may seem harmless on its own, but for someone over 70 whose body is more sensitive, more delicate, and working harder than we often realize, these foods matter more than we think. And you know what's powerful? You've made it to this moment. You now hold something most people don't even think about. You have clarity. You have the awareness that could stop a sleepless night, or even a medical emergency, before it happens. So now I want to invite you into the conversation. Have you seen any of these foods show up in your loved one's nighttime routine? Have you noticed patterns? Maybe they wake up groggy or feel disoriented in the morning? Or maybe you've already made changes. You've found a simple snack or bedtime ritual that helps them rest easy and wake up with a smile. Whatever it is, share it. Right here in the comments. You never know who's reading. Your words might be the exact encouragement another caregiver, another daughter, son, or grandchild needs to hear tonight. And this is what Elderly Words is here for. We're not just sharing tips. We're building a space, a sanctuary, where awareness, empathy, and real-life wisdom come together. A place where you feel less alone in the caregiving journey. Where your love for someone doesn't have to feel like a burden. It becomes your strength. So if this video helped you, even in a small way, please give it a like. It tells us we're heading in the right direction, and it helps others find this information too. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to Elderly Words. We're here every week, sharing content that touches the heart and strengthens your caregiving journey. From nutrition and sleep to emotional support, communication, safety, and dignity. We know how overwhelming this season of life can be, how invisible the struggle sometimes feels, how scary it is to watch someone you love slowly change right in front of you. But you're not alone. You're part of a growing, beautiful community of people who care deeply, who are choosing to show up, to ask hard questions, to listen, to learn, and to lead with love. So thank you for being here, for listening, for loving the way you do. Until next time, stay strong, stay kind, and above all, stay informed. We'll see you in the next one.